Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rebel Rewind. My name's Christopher. That over there is Eric.
Hello.
How's it going, Eric? How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. How you
Yeah,
doing, Christopher?
doing good. Trying to keep cool. It's pretty hot. We're kind of like in the middle of a heat wave right now. So,
I think next week we're going to get a cold front
oh really?
over here in
Wow,
Houston. Yep. Yep.
that's
Like
crazy.
in the 80s. I'm not sure how, what it translates in for you
Yeah,
guys,
it's
but yeah.
probably about 20. Yeah, in the 20s here.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what they
Um,
say.
I mean, hey, I'll take that
Yep.
over 30-40 degree weather up here, 30-40 degrees Celsius. Gerardo says, "Let's go." Hey, Gerardo, thanks for
What's up,
hopping in the
Gerardo?
chat. Yeah, so we are usually we stream on Tuesdays, but we figured we'd with some stuff that came up in our agendas there, we figured we'd do it today, and we could talk about the Acolyte at the end of the show because we had that season finale of the Acolyte, which without getting diving too much into it, what did you think? Because we'll talk about that after. But
I
what
think
did you think of it as a whole?
this made up a lot for sure on how the episodes were going. This one was
Yeah,
lot better than most other episodes, so I enjoyed
yeah.
it. Definitely enjoyed it.
Were you satisfied with the ending?
Yeah. I didn't expect the reveal at the end, or the
Yeah,
cameo at the end, but
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. And it left stuff open, so if they do a second season, which I hope they do. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me when I say that I hope there's a second season because I know a lot of fans didn't really like the Acolyte for various reasons, and that's fine. That's their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
as long as we can be civil
Civil.
while we're talking about it, and not not being too negative and disrespectful to each other. But I mean, hey, if you didn't like it, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But we'll talk about that later. But we do have some news articles to go over as we usually do. I thought this first one here was kind of cool because of because of one of the cameos we got in the series finale as well. But this one was from the Nerdist, where they interviewed Leslie Headland after the seventh episode of the Acolyte, which was that other flashback episode. And just one of the questions, I'll leave the links for all these articles in the description below. But I wanted to just touch on this one bit from the article where the interviewer asks Leslie. He says, "quote This one's for me. I've been waiting many years for Darth Plagueis to show up. Do you know the whole story of the galaxy far, far away from the Acolyte to him training Palpatine? How that connects?" And Leslie Headland says, "Yes, I do. If I continue to tell the story, I know how I would like that to play out, and I would say I think it's pretty complicated and messy." So that's pretty much saying that if she gets to continue the making seasons of the Acolyte, that he's going to show up in further seasons. Which we did get a cameo. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen it yet, we did get a cameo, which we'll talk about a bit later. But what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about getting future seasons of the Acolyte with Darth Plagueis' story?
I think that'd be very interesting. I mean, love to see young Palps
Yeah,
training, like learning his moves and some of the stuff that we've seen on the prequels. What is he capable of? You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I think that'd be pretty interesting if we do get that. And I do know that we get that time jump, and
yeah,
we get to
exactly.
find out what happened to Chimere and OSHA. So I think that'd be kind of interesting. Do they have students of their own, or people who follow them? So I think it'd be a pretty interesting time jump. And if they do continue the story, I think I'd probably be a fair, it'd be a good place to start, or where to continue.
Yeah,
For
and
the
and
young Palps.
you would have to cast a whole bunch of new characters now because of what happened in the finale. Again, which we'll kind of touch on at the end of the episode here. Um, But yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be cool to see Plagueis and Palpatine together. So if they time jump, or like maybe even after like 2 or 3 seasons, you're at that time period where Palpatine is training with Plagueis there, and that'd be cool to see on scene, right? Or
Yeah,
on screen. So
be cool to see Plagueis actually out of the out of the shadows and actually see how he looks in detail.
yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
No, definitely no. So let's go ahead and start with my first story. We've got Lucasfilm starts development on the next animated Star Wars series. I'm looking forward to this. A recent job listing from Lucasfilm suggests that a new Star Wars animated series is in the horizon. The news followed the conclusion of the Star Wars Bad Batch and the anticipation of the new season of the Young Jedi Adventures. According to Screen Rant, the listing found on Disney's career indicates that Lucasfilm Animation is seeking a shot production coordinator. According to the job description, if anybody's interested, this role will support the associate production manager in maintaining animation, lighting department records from pre-production through post-production for animated television series. And there's no detail on what the animation is going to be about, but the shot production coordinator will be responsible for assisting the associate production manager to create and maintain the animation, lighting department records and processes from the pre-production through post-production on an animated television series. The job summary reads, with the Acolytes introducing audiences to the High Republic era, this period is ripe for further exploration. The new series could potentially focus on the New Republic, shedding light on the chaotic era following the fall of the Empire. Another possibility of revisiting the beloved characters, which you always have been a strong point for Star Wars animation, the Clone Wars for recent successes like Tales of the Empire. So I think this is pretty exciting news to get a new animated series. I think this is awesome. I'm always interested in animation. I love art, so this is definitely something I'm looking forward to. So according to this, Chris, what you've heard, do you think they'll revisit maybe the Clone Wars era, the sequel era, or something possibly around the New Republic era?
I don't know. I'm fine with anything really. Like I would love to see some Knights of the Old Republic era, or even like the High Republic era, because they seem to be big on the High Republic right now with the books and stuff, and with the Acolyte just taking place at the end of the High Republic era. So something during that era would be cool. Sequel era would be cool. But what I'm really hoping for, what I'm really hoping for is something that takes place just after the Bad Batch, like something that has to do with maybe Commander Cody, or not Captain Rex, and the surviving clones, and their next step, and possibly them, being a faction of what's now the Path in the Kenobi series, right? Them helping these Force sensitive Jedi and young Jedi and survivors that survived Order 66. I would like to see something like that, right? Because that we got the hints at the Path in the Kenobi series, but also in Star Wars Vision Season 2. There was one where I can't remember who the animation was, but it was almost like an Indian themed one, and the young girl disappears into that water that opens up, and she disappears into like the tunnel underneath the pool there.
That's pretty.
Yeah, and it felt like very Path driven storyline. So that would be cool to see a story like that. But I'm down for anything, because I love the Star Wars animation, especially in Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. So
I would love to see Knights of the Ren, like how they
Knights of Ren would be awesome too.
That'd be pretty cool too.
But if we go into something with the Path, we would see Quinlan Voss possibly, and maybe even more Asajj Ventress as well. So, I mean, if we get Quinlan and Asajj and the Path, that'd be cool. Yeah, so we got Sci-Fi says, "Hey,
what's
fella,
up, Sci-Fi? What's going on, bro?
Thanks for hopping in the chat."
Yep.
And chat, let us know what you think of these articles as well. What are you excited for a new animated series? What do you think of Plagueis coming in the what do you think of more Plagueis story in the Acolyte season 2 if they make it a season 2? Just
Let's hope
let us know
everybody.
what you think of these articles as well.
I hope we don't spoil anything for anybody.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the Acolyte, definitely maybe go watch that first and then come back and watch this. But hopefully everyone's seen the Acolyte so far. But jumping into my next story, there are some set photo leaks from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is cool. So the Best Spin Bulletin posted this. I think just last week, July 11th. So this would have been like Thursday. So we got some set photo leaks. Nothing great. Just I don't know if we can figure anything out from it, but the next Star Wars film to hit theaters is The Mandalorian and Grogu from director Jon Favreau, the creator of the hit Disney Plus series The Mandalorian. And The Mandalorian and Grogu is set to be the first film released in theaters since 2019's Rise of Skywalker, and currently sports a release date of May 22nd, 2026. So in a couple of years here, just under a couple of years now. Filming on the movie was first reported to begin in mid-June by Collider and other outlets, and they had a handful of. They reported a handful of months ago that The Mandalorian and Grogu was due to start filming in June, but was due to wrap up in October. So I guess this is they're a little bit late on starting filming, because if they're building sets, I can't imagine that they've actually started filming yet. But production has started. There are some sets there. So at the time, the source reiterated that filming had not started, but the pre-production and set builds were well underway. And coincidentally, on the same night, Making Star Wars ventured to one of the locations that was used for multiple Star Wars live action series, including Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, which is also planned to be used for the Mandalorian and Grogu. So Making Star Wars took to Twitter, or X now, to share images of what he saw and the location, and added that it appears as if the production is building a turret, a base, or homes of some kind. So here's the first photo, and you can kind of see there's a turret kind of like off to the left there, and not much else. Some blue screen. So that's the close up of that turret there. But yeah, it could be a turret. Looks like some rock formation maybe on just like next to that container, that sea container. So who knows what they're building? But it's exciting that we're getting these set photo leaks, just because it brings us back to when they were filming the sequels, right? We got leaks, like photos leaked of the sets that they were building for the sequels as well. So exciting times, I think.
Yeah, I love looking at these behind the scenes or like secret like spy images of sets and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting because your mind just kind of goes off like, what are they doing and where could this possibly
Exactly.
be? And
What location could it be, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. So no, I'm super excited. Yeah, I just wish they just come on, hurry up, start doing some filming.
Right.
We need some Mando.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting to see these photos and knowing that stuff is on the way.
Progress.
And yeah, progress, right? So exciting stuff.
Yep, most definitely. All right, so let's continue on with my next story. Showrunner Leslie Headland hopes that two beloved dead characters now have more for their stories told in Star Wars one day. Let's see if that's it. That's the story right there. All right, so Molly Edwards is the writer of this story here. The Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland had said that she hopes to see two fallen fan favorite characters once again. So I think this is going to tie into the previous story. In the Acolytes episode 5, both Yord Fandor and the beloved leader of the Yord Horde and Padawan Jekilon was killed by the Stranger, aka the Sith Lord Quimir. But according to Headland, that may not be the end of their story. So she said, definitely, yeah. Headland told Jedi News in the roundtable when asked if we can see the duel once again in a different format and if there's more in their story. So comicbooks.com, stories on comicbook.com. So Paulo Hidalgo said to Leslie Headland that I have talked about that, and since wrapping up the series, there's definitely some stuff that I would love to see come to fruition. I think this is pretty interesting. I think they're pretty much saying what they want, another project they're talking about doing. I think this is pretty exciting because at first I didn't care too much for Yord until I saw that, the sacrifice, right? And then what's this Jekilon. She is totally awesome, man. I love watching her. She was spectacular watch. So yeah, I love to see these two characters in a, I don't know, some kind of live action. I mean, not live action, but maybe animation form or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
Like I said, if they do an animated High Republic era show, that would be cool. Just because they can tell the stories when like Jekki and Yord were at the temple, because they seem to have a history from what you see in the show, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Jekki was definitely a favorite of mine. Yord was an acquired taste for sure.
Yeah.
But I see why he was put into the Acolyte, right? Because he was very by the book, almost like a young Obi-Wan, like in the Phantom Menace, like trying to do things right. So. First time caller, first time watcher, first go Oilers, and second, when and what will Ugly Ships series of toys be released, and would it be buildable or as is? Not too sure what you're talking about. Maybe if you care to elaborate.
Ships. Not sure if that's concerning the ships on the series of the Acolytes. There's some terrible looking ships on this show.
Yeah, Sci-Fi said seen in a very good DP fan film on YouTube. I'm hoping that the Mandalorian and Grogu does Avengers type story that involves Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Thrawn, and smash it into a huge, incredible film. Well, I think that's what Dave Filoni's film will be at the end. Like the his Heir to the Empire film will probably be like an Avengers type story where it brings together all these characters from the Mandoverse, which will be cool. Fever Dreamland Theater says, "Hey fellas, I caught the finale last night. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the show. Animated High Republic series would be awesome. Agreed. Yes. Yeah, we'll get into our thoughts on the Acolyte after we're done our articles here, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, no, an animated High Republic era series would be pretty awesome.
Those first two stories probably are linked in some way. Who knows?
So next, I have another article on the Bespin Bulletin about Lucasfilm. There's rumors of the Adam Project writer Jonathan Tropper to be writing Sean Levy's Star Wars movie, which we still haven't had like an official announcement that this is happening. Just from Sean Levy that he's working on it, but like no official Lucasfilm announcement that there is a movie coming from Sean Levy. But back in November 2022, it was announced that Sean Levy, the director behind films such as Free Guy, the Adam Project, Real Steel, Night at the Museum, and the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine, due to release later this month. Word on the Levy project has been pretty quiet ever since, likely because the effort was quite a ways away, and other Star Wars movies slated for an earlier release date, such as The Mandalorian and Grogu in May of 2026. the new Jedi Order movie with Rey in December 2026, which is still unconfirmed, and then Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, December 2027, which is unconfirmed still, and then eventually the Dave Filoni movie would come out, I would assume, in 2028 or 2029. So there's a lot of movies still coming out, but Sean Levy is a director I could see doing a Star Wars movie, and I'm pretty excited about this news that he's going to be bringing in the writer from the Adam Project, because I don't know, Eric, have you seen the Adam Project on Netflix with Ryan Reynolds?
I think we talked about this last time, that I think I may have caught it, but I don't really remember watching it.
Yeah.
So
the Adam Project
was a
Free Guy was. Yeah, and you can tell that Sean Levy's a Star Wars fan, because both in that he brings in some Star Wars Easter eggs, but also in the Adam Project, which is like a time travel movie with Ryan Reynolds. And there's a scene where he picks up the stick that lights up at both ends, and he uses it almost like a lightsaber. And there's a joke there that the younger version of him says, "Oh, that's just a lightsaber." So you can tell like Levy is a big Star Wars fan, right? So.
I love when actual Star Wars fans actually make these movies. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. So as mentioned in the earlier article, the Sean Levy flick seems as if it's many years away, given Lucasfilm's stacked theatrical slate. But wouldn't be wholly shocked if the Levy film takes more of a priority at Lucasfilm if his upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine performs extremely well at the box office, which I can see it performing really well, just because there's a lot of hype going into with like the trailers coming out and showing like all this multiverse stuff with Deadpool and Wolverine and bringing back Hugh Jackman. So I can see the Deadpool and Wolverine movie doing really well at the box office. So we'll have to wait and see. But what do you think? What do you think about Sean Levy doing a Star Wars film and bringing it in his a writer that he's worked with before on previous films?
I think it's a positive thing. I'm not sure any word on what this movie is going to be about or where it's going to take place. Or like time-wise.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where, but I mean, I'm down for it.
Yeah,
he's talented. He's got his comedic. He knows comedy, and he's not like some of these other. What's this guy's name? Taika Waititi, where it's like everything's always try to push it to the edge of comedy, and I was like a little too much. But I think his style of comedy and action and his love for Star Wars, it'll make a good combination for a good Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Yeah, so it's gonna be further down on the timeline, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Lots to look forward to.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, most definitely. All right, so on to my next story. Master Soul's weakness confirms why the Jedi Order prohibited. Spoiler. All right, so this is kind of a long one, so bear with me. So Soul wanted to unite the sisters and make Osha feel complete again. That sense of family would have done that for both girls, but he compromised the Jedi code. There's not supposed to believe in desire and attachment, and Soul is the opposite. We have seen earlier in the series talking about how cherishing memories and things like this and like love can make a Jedi stronger. Qui-Gon Jinn believed also in this precept down to the line also too. Sadly, a lot of the pain followed. Now viewers are witnessing Soul go through the motions as his judgment becomes clouded. He thought with his love, not with his brain. He's beating himself up because he's been professional and taking things and not personally. So he's beating himself up because he has been professional and not personally invested. So he would have sensed a disturbance. So he didn't sense the disturbance in the Force with Quimir on Malega. Soul's agony created a mental block that prevented Soul from sensing May. it once more speaks about love, quite bittersweet. It makes Soul a lot. Okay, so this his emotions makes him a better human, and it takes away from his Jedi skills of him being able to sense things that he's supposed to sense. Him being a Jedi. So fans were curious to know how Quimir pretended to be a non-Sith around Soul, but now we know that him being not thinking straight, using his heart and emotions, he couldn't tell the difference between Osha and May. It's clear that Soul caring
and
about.
We see that a couple times too in the series.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he had that. I mean, as soon as he saw her, he was like, okay, this is going to be my Padawan. So he already started off in the wrong foot. So ultimately, it's a healthy conversation when constantly showing that there is a fine line between the Jedi and their evil counterparts, all while prodding on the notion of what perfect soldiers are supposed to be by the book, like Indara, or compassionate like Soul. In the end, there's a discussion on empathy and how it backfired for the Jedi even before the rise of Darth Vader. In Soul's case, attachment was his undoing on Brendok, with deadly consequences reverberating even 16 years later. So it's clear that how he put his emotions before logic which hampered his Jedi intuition and reasoning. But I think this brought out the humanity in him, making him more noble, right, and less mechanical, like many of the other Jedi's, like for example Vanestra and Master Indara, making Soul more trusting and more likable as a character, in my opinion. So him putting his emotions out there, it made him a little less, let's say, keen on Jedi intuition, but made him more of a likable person, right? So he kept on putting his emotions out there and going with his heart and with his gut rather than with his training as a Jedi. So I think that was a pretty interesting story, and I know kind of botched it up by reading, but I think the story is pretty good. If you guys want to read it, I think it's a decent story and something to to think about. So I'm not sure what you think about this story, Chris.
Yeah, it's interesting because he definitely thought more with his heart and his emotions than with his head, especially in episode 7, and that may have been his downfall too.
Yep.
As we saw in episode 8. So
yeah, definitely he put that out there that, hey, he loved them, and he wanted to save them, but at the same time he just wasn't thinking right. Put his heart out there.
Yeah, definitely used his heart instead of his head. So
yep.
Next, I've got an article about the Daisy Ridley Star Wars movie, The New Jedi Order, might film in 2025. Still yet to read a script, Daisy Ridley says. So in April 2023, Daisy Ridley was brought on stage at Star Wars Celebration to reveal that she'd be returning as Rey Skywalker in an untitled Star Wars movie written by Stephen Knight from Peaky Blinders, and also to be directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, Miss Marvel, which I enjoyed the Miss Marvel series. There's been very little update on the project officially since the announcement. There were some rumors of a title of the title A New Beginning, I think it was the rumored title there for a little bit, and then that got shot down later on. So Lucasfilm never publicly dated the New Jedi Order working title movie in 2023. Lucasfilm shared 3 dates for untitled Star Wars movies: May 2026, December 2026, and December 2027. It was widely believed that the New Jedi Order was set to lead Lucasfilm's newly announced slate, which at the time included an untitled Jedi Origins movie from James Mangold, a Mandoverse crossover event film from Dave Filoni, and then in the summer of 2023, it was reported that by Jeff Snyder on the hot mic, that Lucasfilm were looking to begin filming New Jedi Order in the spring of 2024, which that hasn't happened yet. So new reports are saying at this time, Lucasfilm still has not confirmed what movies will release in December 2026 or December 2027. The belief at this time is that New Jedi Order is aiming for the December 2026, and Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi is aiming for 2027 in December. Today, July 10th, 2024, Deadline mentioned that the December 2026 date is believed to be occupied by the Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's New Jedi Order. It might be in Lucasfilm and Disney's best interest to delay the New Jedi Order, as Warner Brothers Discovery and Legendary Pictures is recently announced a new film from Denis Villeneuve will release on the same day, December 2018, and it's widely believed to be Dune Part 3, an adaptation of Dune Messiah. Interest in Star Wars has been down in recent years for various possible reasons over the saturation, decline in quality, lack of films, etc., etc. And Dune has risen to be one of the most highly critically acclaimed film franchises, and is the second most successful Hollywood release of the year. And Lucasfilm and Disney did decide to delay the film to, if Lucasfilm and Disney decide to delay the film to 2027, hopes are that they would avoid the May 2027 Avengers 6, which is one of the reasons why Solo did bombed at the box office, because they went up against Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I guess they're saying it's possible that the Rey movie is still going to film in 2025. So what are your thoughts on all of this?
Oh man. I mean, I think I've told you before. I think if anything, they should.
I know you're not a huge fan of the sequels, but
like I said, like come on now, they could just make it a series. Just take your time. You don't have to rush it, and just put it out on Disney Plus.
I don't know. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see more movies, because I miss going to the theaters.
Oh yeah,
in
the
December.
Yeah. That's
so.
I don't know. And then for them delaying it for the release of Dune, I think that's a smart move, because they'll get crushed. Yeah, Dune.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Dune. Dune 2. I watched the second one like last week or so. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So they're gonna make a third movie. It's Disney should just hold up a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to go up against another big franchise, right? I mean, unless unless you're confident that you're gonna, put butts in the seats, So
right. All right. So this is my last story for this evening, explaining the origins of the Knights of Ren, a story by Emma Flint from gamingbible.com. All right, so let's get into this. Although Quaimir is not aligned with the Jedi, the character isn't strictly Sith either. He sits outside both camps. He's certainly connected to the dark side, but beyond that, little else is known, other than the revelation on episode 8. I'm just adding on to that, being the student of Plagueis, at least as the show suggested. So during an interview, the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland was vague on the details. He says, what I will say is you don't hear it from his mouth that he's Sith, but there are a couple of small things that happen that intimate the answer to the question. So when directly asked whether Quaimir is connected to the Knights of Ren, she added, and takes a long pause, "It's really good theory. What an interesting theory. What an amazing, wow. So this could mean Quaimir is indeed Sith, or seemingly more likely hinting at his involvement in the creation of the Knights of Ren. The connection between character and Enclave could make sense, giving Quaimir's indifference between for both the Sith and Jedi. What is what is more is that Kylo's theme has been heard during the certain scenes, which is highly questionable if not teasing the Knights of Ren. So why else would you use it, right?
Yeah.
So after that, while Kylo Ren gives into his dark emotions, he's not Sith. Moreover, there is a goodness to him despite his grave misdeeds similar to Quimir. So unless episode 8 is about to pull the rug from under our feet, it feels like the original story of the mysterious masked group is finally being told. And if we've watched episode 8, that question was not really told. So on to that story.
No.
So
so
I think they're
another
looking
question
for
left
another
up in the
season.
air.
Yeah,
I think
like,
so.
Come on.
But I don't know. I've always felt like Chimere isn't like I think he's currently a Sith Lord. He's currently a Sith apprentice.
Apprentice, yeah.
And I think he's gonna break away from the Sith and become the first Knight of Ren. Like there's got to be some reason they played the Kylo Ren music in the Acolyte. So that's what I'm thinking. That's the theory I'm kind of going with at the moment. I don't know. What do you have any theories about it?
No, that's a really good theory right there. I think he probably is the commencement or the beginning of the Knights of Ren. The helmet, his what he's wearing, but the Knights of Ren don't utilize lightsabers. They utilize like pikes and stuff like that, which is maybe because they don't have access to lightsabers or whatever reason. But this is I like the theory. I think it's a really good, strong theory. And of course, when they're playing the music, and she kind of like paused right before answering that question, she was like, "That's a really good theory." So maybe there's something to it in season 2, if there's a season 2.
Yeah, hopefully. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I enjoyed the Acolyte. Let's actually jump into the Acolyte now, because
so we got Anthony here said Soul was his favorite character.
Yeah,
he's definitely was my favorite character for sure.
Soul and Chimere were definitely standout performances. Yes. So
I like
let's
Jackie Long.
Talk
also.
about the Acolyte.
She was a good character.
Jackie was good too. Yeah. Yep. She held her own against Chimere in episode 5. What did you think of the finale, Eric? Because we got the finale last night, and spoiler alert for anyone watching who hasn't seen it still. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this, you should stop watching this right now and go watch the Acolyte. Which actually, let me put up let me share my Disney Plus screen, because they did actually post the title now. Because last night it was just posted as episode 8, and there was no thumbnail, there was no description, but now there is. So it's called episode 8, the Acolyte. Yeah, it was 49 minutes. It was almost an hour.
Yep. Matter of fact, I watched the first time I watched it was this morning. Yesterday I just couldn't watch it yesterday, so so I watched it this morning, and then I watched it again.
So it's still fresh. Still fresh.
Yeah, no, I mean this was a big boost for the show, I think, and a good something a card right to use for another season, right? Because I think this was a very good episode. Lightsaber battle was just epic between Soul and Quimir.
And Chimere?
Oh my goodness. The reveal that we got, the cameo that we got, I didn't think we were going to see him. I didn't think we were going to see Plagueis, so it was pretty good.
No. But with all the little hints beforehand, like with the unknown planet that had the cortosis in the rock wall, we were theorizing that was Baldemnik from the Plagueis book, which would be the planet where Plagueis and Tenebris went, and they found this planet and used that cortosis, and I think it's the same planet that Plagueis kills Tenebris on. So
I thought we were going to see Tenebris.
I thought we were going to see Tenebris too, but we saw Plagueis, which I know that has a lot of. I know there's a lot of fans with some
timeline issues.
Yeah, timeline issues because how young Plagueis would be, which they changed the birth date of Ki-Adi-Mundi, they could probably nudge this a little bit, because he would be like, I don't know. So what did I do here? Because I did a little bit of date research for one of my previous videos here.
I think
And
Plagueis was supposed
Plagueis,
to be 14 or something like that. Still a
yeah, so
teen.
Plagueis was born. No, Plagueis was born 147, between 147 and 120 BBY, and this takes place roughly between 132 and 116 BBY. So he'd be in his late teens to late 30s ish. But like I said, they could change the date, they can change the birth date, and like, I know that would probably piss off a lot of people for sure. It would definitely piss off a lot of people if they change the date and change stuff like that. Um, I'm okay with that kind of stuff if they make little changes like that. But it was exciting to
It
see
was exciting.
Plagueis in live action. It was like you said, the duel between Soul and Chimera was fantastic. Like, especially when he split the blades up and he threw them, and then Soul
Yes.
used the Force and like blocked it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
and pushed, like he did the Force push around him, almost like a Star Killer when he kind of did the whole, used the Force and pushed everything away from
So,
him. That was cool. We got to see the bleeding of the Kyber crystal, the
see, now
lightsaber
I
crystal
got an
in
issue with
live
that.
action.
I got an issue with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your issue?
Okay. All right. So, bleeding a crystal, right? That
Yeah.
means you're intentionally doing this. This is more like what do we call it? How can I say this? You're intentionally bleeding the crystal. It's not like by accident or by pure hatred and stuff like that. It's not a byproduct, right, of hatred, or because she's holding a
Right.
lightsaber and it just happened to bleed red, and then all of a sudden she looks at a lightsaber and it's turning from blue to red. It's like that's not how it's supposed to work, right? It's supposed to be like intentionally doing this, right? And it's a whole what you call it uh ceremonial type of thing. It's not like
Right.
a byproduct of a hatred or a period of time where you feel hatred and and anger. So I just had an issue with that, and it just felt, it just didn't feel right. It just wasn't right. That they should have. I know they were trying to do with it, and have her first time seeing it on screen, somebody bleeding
Yeah.
a crystal, but it felt like forced and just didn't feel right. But it was
Yeah.
interesting. It was interesting to see.
I didn't feel like it was. I didn't get that same impression that was forced. But I get what you're saying, because like I feel like it would have, they would have pulled it off better if she wasn't as surprised when the red blade showed up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was angry. If I was that angry, like if my lightsaber was all of a sudden red instead of blue, I wouldn't care, because I'd be still anger. Like, I'd be angry at Soul still. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I think her being kind of surprised and shocked that it was a different color kind of maybe ruined that moment a little bit, but
Yeah.
it was still fun to see. It was still cool to see it on live on screen in live action, right?
It should have been more
Um,
ceremonial than just I don't know. But it actually would have been
right.
kind of cool if she would have had the lightsaber in, maybe before that time, right? And then her holding the crystal, right? And starting to
Yeah.
bleed in that way. But it's all good.
Yeah. No,
But
I enjoyed seeing it. And then and then Vernestra Rowe is
oh
definitely, like,
yes.
oh yeah, she's covered up this whole Jedi massacre on Kafar, and blamed it on Soul, who's already dead at this point. So like, she blamed it on her dead friend, and basically threw him under the bus,
Pretty
because
much.
who else is going to know about it other than Soul? Soul's dead. All the Jedi who were there are dead. She's if I'm not mistaken, I believe she's now the only person who knows exactly what happened on Kafar, because like her apprentice kind of had vibes of that there were some Jedi killed, but he was like, oh, could Master Soul have done this? But Vernestra knows the truth. She knows that. Well, also now we know that Vernestra is Kymir's old Jedi Master. We got that reveal. So she's the only one who knows that her old Jedi apprentice who fell to the dark side did this. Like she's the only one who knows this now, because everyone else is dead who fought Kymir. No one else knows about it other than Osha and May, but like they're off somewhere. But like as far as Jedi go, Vernestra is the only one who knows this, and she's covering it up. She's blaming Soul for this, and she's hiding that she has this fallen apprentice. She's hiding the just that she knows that there's a dark side user out there. And then she goes and talks to Yoda at the end, which we got the cameo of Yoda at the end, which was I thought was cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So my question is, right? So what are you gonna tell? What are you gonna tell Yoda? Right?
Yeah.
And like I said, obviously he believed it because he went. You know, he was under understanding that there have been no Sith since 1,000 years or so.
Yeah,
so
millennia.
like,
yeah, I think
about 100 years.
Kiadi-Mundi's line was the Sith have been extinct for over a millennium.
So he bought it. Yoda bought it. So I guess he's not going to see past or look too deeply into what she's going to tell him.
Yeah, and Kiadi-Mundi, as far as he knows, he just knows that that there were 3 Jedi that were killed by a Force user that was trained by a Jedi. Like that's all he knows. He doesn't know it's a dark side user. He doesn't know for sure any of that stuff, right? So a lot of people are saying that the Kiadi-Mundi thing, like him being in it, changes that line in the Phantom Menace where he said that the Sith are extinct for over a millennium, but I don't think it does, because like I don't think he actually knows that it's a Sith, that it's a dark side user who killed all those Jedi, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just know, like I said, he knows the 3 Jedi or the 2 Jedi at the time. Kalnaka wasn't dead at the time. He knows that those the other 2 Jedi, Indara and Torben, were killed by someone who was trained by a Jedi. So that's all he knows, right? So I don't think it changes anything as far as the lore goes, as far as what they did in the Phantom Menace. So overall, yeah, no, I thought it was a great season finale. I didn't go in with any expectations, so I was happy with it. I was satisfied with this ending, and I hope we do get a second season. Are you hoping we get a second season at all?
I think a second season would be good if we get more Plagueis and Palpatine. I think it'd be pretty good. But let's see if we can. I don't know. She's just got a lot of baggage, Leslie Headland, and but then again, people change, and maybe I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But I think it'd be interesting if we do get another season of. We got a lot of answers from the prequels that we didn't get.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I agree. How do you feel about the way the twins were created? Because that was another hot topic.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so yeah, no, the whole the witches and everything, how one person was split into, which is the way Soul kind of described it. It's pretty interesting. The what's it called? The
consciousness of one was split into 2 to make 2 people. Yeah.
What's that called again? It's called the
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like they're
virgins.
Basically, yeah. The virgins was on the planet, and they use that virgins
they get the calling of for the Jedis to go there because there's a strong presence of Jedis, or Jedi,
like the Force.
There. Yeah, the Force.
There's strong Force energy there.
So when there's the forget it. It's not right here in my mind. It's not registering at this
Yeah.
moment. It'll come up to me a little later. Like what was that word again?
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
I can't remember exactly what they
there's
said in the last episode. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again.
yeah,
But like
there's a
my
word that
takeaway,
means that.
yeah, my takeaway is that like is that they just like I don't know if they created OSHA, if they manipulated the Force to create OSHA, or if they just manipulated the Force to split OSHA up into two living organisms, right? But either
Yeah.
way, it's the first time that somebody's used the Force to create life, and we know Plagueis was very interested in this, and
Force
he,
dyad. Force
yeah,
dyad.
I think it could be a Force dyad too,
Yeah,
but
that's the word.
also this could be how Plagueis learns how to manipulate the Force to create life as well, right? So
Yeah, no, it's way above my pay grade. My understanding of it. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's pretty interesting, and how, like he says, Soul was like she was the only one in all history was able to do this. How this
yeah,
mother Anastasia, right? She was
yeah,
the only one that was able to accomplish this. Like that's a big feat, for somebody, right? So it's like
yeah,
I know the planet kind of like doubles or triples the power because of the divergence, right, on the planet, or the
yeah,
force power on the planet, and maybe because of that, with her own powers, and then on top of that, doubled or tripled with her understanding, her knowledge and stuff like that, quadrupled or whatever, and she was able to gain the knowledge from the force on how to do this. So
yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
beyond my pay grade, but I think it's pretty interesting.
But overall, you enjoyed it though, yeah? You were
Yeah, no,
satisfied
I
with
enjoyed it.
this ending, yeah,
I enjoy the
yeah, same here.
so what do you think, grade wise? What do you think of the first season of?
So I'm gonna go in the middle. So I don't know if I would give it a grade. I would go in the middle. So Andor and the Mandalorian, they're at the top of my list. So Mandalorian, Andor, and then I would probably place Ahsoka and then the Acolyte in the middle somewhere. So I mean, I guess if we're going like A, B, C, and C's the lowest, I would call it a B with a Ahsoka.
No,
Where I would
that's
rank it.
yeah. Yeah, I was talking with you earlier. I think I'm going to give this a C plus in
Yeah,
my opinion, but there's some things I didn't like about it. Whole lot of stuff that I didn't like about it, but
yeah,
the things that we did get that was interesting to me, I liked, and I kind of bumped it up for me. So,
yeah. And
and then the
that's the
fight scenes,
thing.
man. Yeah, I'm a sucker for fights, for the lightsaber fight scene. So,
Yeah,
and the whole kind of Matrix kind of style of fighting,
yeah,
So,
right.
yeah,
Yeah. But I mean that's the thing about these Star Wars shows. Like, you're not going to please everyone. There's always going to be stuff that we're not going to like, because Book of Boba Fett, they had the speeder bike gang that looked like Power Rangers on speeder bikes, right? Like
yeah.
it was entertaining. Don't get me wrong, it was entertaining. It's Star Wars. I love Star
But
Wars.
to who was it
It
entertaining?
was just like, yeah. I mean, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was more funny than anything. I thought it
Yeah.
was more funny than anything, like seeing those guys there. But like, there's stuff in every series that people aren't gonna like or whatever for whatever reason, right? And that's fine. It's this stuff, the like liking and disliking TV shows and movies. It's all subjective,
Yeah.
right?
But
So
but like you said earlier, this if you don't like it, don't like it. Hate on the show, awesome.
yeah,
It's just
yeah. Move on.
it's just the people, right? Be cordial, be respectful to one another. Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
Star Wars
exactly.
fans,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. But
that's
I think that'll do it for this episode of the Rebel Rewind. Thanks everyone in the chat for hanging out and
most
keeping
definitely
us company this evening. And we'll see everyone next week when we have some more news and
Tuesday,
rumors to
7:30
chat about.
Central.
So yeah, 7:30 Central. Yeah, 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 Mountain Time, 5:30 Pacific.
This
So
was fun,
yeah, we'll
Chris.
see. we will see everyone next week.